More broadly, the stakes couldn't be higher in this moment. We know that if Russia's aggression is allowed to proceed in Ukraine with impunity, it will not stop with Ukraine and other would-be aggressors in other parts of the world.
Expects an invitation to join NATO at the summit. We also know that your administration and other countries are opposed to that.
I was in Kyiv a couple of weeks ago, and one of my messages then was that Ukraine is not alone. As the Ukrainian people continue to fight for their freedom, for their independence, for their prosperity, for their democratic future, a future where they decide for themselves the trajectory of their country, they're not alone. The United States is with them. Ally after ally in NATO and many countries beyond are with them as well.
Thank you very much. Secretary, you've mentioned
partners are speeding up their own deliveries to Ukraine, doing more than their share. We saw yesterday, and some of you were with us, how Czechia is sourcing artillery shells around the world and transferring tanks as well to Ukraine. The Netherlands and Germany are contributing additional Patriot air defense systems. Sweden is sending $1.3 billion for radar surveillance aircraft, artillery shells, armored vehicles, and the list continues.
Saying that the trial shows the White House is eliminating Biden's political rivals. They're trying to...
And I can say that as we stand here, and as we'll see in Washington, this alliance is bigger than it's ever been with the addition of 2 new members. It's stronger, it's more resilient, and more united. At the summit, we'll be taking concrete steps to bring Ukraine closer to NATO and ensure that there's a bridge to membership, a bridge that's strong and well lit. NATO will help build Ukraine's future force, one that can effectively deter aggression and defend against it as necessary.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Secretary.
And as I've had occasion to discuss before, including in China, what we've seen from China is not the provision of weapons to Russia, but the provision of critical inputs that have allowed Russia to accelerate its own production of tanks, of missiles, of shells. 70% of the machine tools that Russia is currently importing are coming from China. 90% of the microelectronics that China is importing are coming from China. And
so the Biden administration has allowed Ukraine to strike targets inside Russia to defend Kharkiv. Do you leave the door open for this decision to be expanded to other cities and targets that are deeper inside Russia?
Over the past few weeks, Ukraine came to us and asked for the authorization to use weapons that we're providing to defend against this aggression, including against Russian forces that are massing on the Russian side of the border and then attacking into Ukraine. That went right to the president, and as you've heard, he's approved the use of our weapons for that purpose.
Offensive. Your colleague, USAID Administrator Samantha Power, who's an expert and...
With regard to Gaza and the humanitarian situation, the humanitarian situation remains dire for people in Gaza.
The deliveries from China, Russia would not have been able to conduct the war against Ukraine the way